Oh man, that's me and Alan Shamblin. You know, Alan Shamblin's big old famous. He's a Texas boy. He's a famous songwriter. He wrote, "I can't make you love me if you don't." He and Mike Reed wrote that, and he just most recently, "The House That Built Me" is one of his. But this has been, and this is a good thing, you know, for songwriters too. I believe February 2004 was when we made up Poison. And Alan came over to the house and sat down and he said, "Man, I've got an opening line I just, you know, I really love this opening line." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And he said, "Well, my first sip made me gag and I thought I was gonna blow beets." And he looked at me and said, "You know what that means?" And I went, "Yeah, man, I love that." And he said, I said, "Well, what do you think the song's about?" And he said, "Man, it's, you know, I think it's about how, you know, you can learn to love near about anything, even poison." And so it was off to the races. And you know, Alan's just such an honest writer, and we really got to the nub on that song. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites that I've ever written. One of my favorites that I've ever cut. It gets real good press everywhere it goes, and one of my favorite things about it is that I'm not going to name the artist, but there's been 4 or 5 different artists that have come to me and said, "Man, I was going to cut that song, but I just can't see myself saying, 'Thought I was going to blow beets.'" So I can't wait until it gets to the top of the charts with King, and just call them and say, "Well, maybe you couldn't, but King George kind of thought that was all right." There's a funny story too behind that. I saw George at the BMI Awards this year, and I just walked right up to him. I hadn't seen him in years and years. My wife used to be on the road open for him for a little bit, but I just barely met him then. But I walked up to him and said, stuck my hand out, and he reached a hand out, and I looked right in his eyes and said, "My first sip made me gag, and I thought I was going to blow beets." And he did like this, and he went, "You know what that means?" And I went, "Well, yeah, me and Alan Shamblin wrote it." And he goes, "Man, I love that." He said, "We're going to try to make you a real good record on that." He said, "I don't know, you know, you never like to say because you never know what's going to happen. We're going to try to make you a good record." And then sure enough, a few weeks ago, they cut it and it sounds real good. I'm going to be real tickled. I ain't going to say who any of them artists that couldn't see themselves saying something like that. But old George Strait, he could see himself saying it.